Hello, Morongo Basin and listeners around the world online at Z107.7 FM.com. Here is the Z107.7 local news for Thursday, December 21st, 2023. A driver was killed on 29 Palms Highway east of Vidal Junction on Monday afternoon. The California Highway Patrol reports that a car heading eastbound was involved in a rollover accident at 1:45 p.m. near mile marker 104. The CHP said that the driver was not wearing a seatbelt and was pronounced dead at the scene. No other vehicles or people were involved in the rollover. Currently a John Doe, the driver's identity is being confirmed by the San Bernardino County Coroner's Office and will be released once his next of kin have been notified. Z107.7 will update this story when his identity is released. The Morongo Valley Community Services District Board of Directors held their regular meeting last night in Covington Park's multipurpose room. Assignment reporter Gabriel Hart was in attendance and has this recap for us.
Following up on fire department repairs, Fire Chief General Manager James Brakebill reported completion of all necessary demolition, including the removal of all asbestos. The department awaits the next phase of replacing what's been torn out. Good news continued when Brakebill stated the CSD received a $390,000 check from San Bernardino County, which is $20,000 more than anticipated and the first of more to come in tax and repair funds. President Gorky made a motion to change the agenda item of discussing a community fund to revenue possibilities after input from the fire captain, who suggested the department require its own ambulance for local services. He said, quote, "That way we can keep the money in the district rather than rely on MBA," unquote. The captain added that several Southern California fire departments are taking back their right to transport their own patients, to take control of the EMS services that go to the local citizens, to provide faster response, and to reserve the ability to bill and keep those funds within the department. When the item of designated the Morongo Trails and Transit Station into an approved facility to dispose of organic waste, discussion from attendees convoluted matters until the board suggested attendees organize their own ad hoc committee. Since this issue appeared to affect only a small number of Morongo residents, it was suggested somebody, quote, "start their own business" to haul residents' waste to the approved facility east of 29 Palms. Community member and tennis enthusiast Brad Buninger presented a packet of information to refurbish Covington Park's tennis courts to the board, including 3 bids from local refurbishing companies and initial steps to acquiring grants to fund the costly project. Impressed by his efforts, the board agreed to look into it further. Lastly, the board accepted a bid from Norman's Doors to repair the external doors of the CSD. Reporting for Z107.7, this is assignment reporter Gabriel Hart.
The Yucca Valley Planning Commission held a special session meeting last night to ensure all open projects and permits were completed before the holidays. The commission reviewed a color change decision that continued from the last 2 meetings and approved the development of a multifamily complex. Reporter Hillary Sloan will update you on last night's meeting.
The Planning Commission reviewed an environmental assessment for a site plan review located at 7120 Palo Alto Avenue to construct a 5-unit apartment complex on a .67-acre site. The request includes a variance from the required open space area, building separation distance, and driveway access. Staff asked the council to consider requiring more landscaping or architectural details on outside walls and a change of fencing from chain link to a different material. The permit was approved. The Planning Commission also reviewed an application to change the exterior color of the commercial structure located at the northeast corner of 29 Palms Highway and Prescott Avenue. Today's design submission indicated apple lime cocktail on the smaller portion of the garage doors and silhouette gray on the larger portion of all doors facing streets. The permit was approved with additional design approval. For the land update report, see this story at Z107.7fm.com. For Z107.7, this is reporter Hillary Sloan.
The 29 Palms Senior Center announced this week they will be closing for the holidays starting tomorrow at 1 p.m., just after their final lunch service of the year. They are scheduled to reopen on Tuesday, January 2nd. Family Services Association, the senior nutrition provider, will be distributing frozen meals on wheels tomorrow after regular lunch service for people to take home during the closure. Heavy rainfall is virtually guaranteed in the high desert this weekend as a slow-moving storm system brings wet conditions to our area today, tomorrow, and Saturday. creating a risk of additional flooding in the region. As of this morning, the National Weather Service has not issued any flood warnings for our area, but Z107.7 encourages everyone to prepare for wet weather and to drive safely, especially in the rain. Stay tuned to Z107.7 for updates on the rainfall. If it feels like the sun is dropping below the hills even earlier today, online news editor and calendar watcher Robert Hayden joins us with an explanation.
Today, December 21st, marks the winter solstice, the first day of winter and the shortest day of the year for daylight hours. The sun was up this morning just before 7 and will settle back below the horizon around 4:47, giving us about 10 hours of daylight to get all those holiday plans done while the sun is up. Compared to last year, the weather, wind, and cold feel mild, and the often referred to bringer of rain, El Nino, is yet to deliver to the high desert. The winter solstice typically means end-of-year celebrations for many cultures, including the different holidays we celebrate here in America. But for winter-challenged people like myself, the winter solstice means one thing: longer daylight hours are slowly returning as we head towards spring in March 10th, when our clocks will spring forward. Until then, it could be a wild and woolly winter, so check out this story on our website for some tips on how to prepare for extreme weather when and if it returns. That's on Z107.7fm.com. Reporting for Z107.7 News, I'm Robert Hayden.
Holiday food boxes were distributed to needy families last Saturday in a joint effort between the Yucca Valley Sunset Rotary, their family members, and several Miss Yucca Valley contestants. More than 50 food boxes filled with canned goods, perishables, desserts, and even ham were distributed at the Armed Services YMCA at the 29 Palms Marine Base. And finally, a look at a new program offering a unique service to area veterans will be featured on the Z107.7 Up Close show with Gary Daigneault tomorrow morning. Milltree Organization Executive Director Cheryl Montel and President Patrick Wallace will introduce a free retreat for veterans titled Weaving Our Stories, The Path Home, set for January 12th through January 14th in Joshua Tree. With multifaceted offerings, Milltree is focused on building dialogue and creating more resilient communities. Find out more this Friday at 10 a.m. here on Z107.7. That's our local news. Hear local news 7 times a day, 7 days a week at 7, 8, 9, noon, 4, 5, and 6. If you hear news happening, let us know about it. Email us at tips@z1077fm.com. Reporting for the Morongo Basin News Leader, the award-winning Z107.7 Local News, I'm Jeff Harmatz.